So it's Kylix 3511. We're live. So we're just doing a quick mic check. Make sure it's all good. It looks like Christoph Limpelaer is the one that's actually set on there. Oh, here I am. We're doing a quick mic check, everybody. Let us know if you hear us. In fact, we were just talking about somebody. Is Kylix, Twitter handle? I should probably look up the name, but I don't have time to do that at the moment. Is the Twitter handle Kylix 3511 in YouTube chat right now? Is Kylix 3511 in chat? In just case you're not sure, is at symbol Kylix 3511. You know, I'm going to copy and paste it in there. Maybe I'm not saying it correctly because we're not officially started yet. We're just chilling, make sure everybody can hear us. Oh, that's the wrong URL. I don't want to send that one out. Unless you guys want to see how many students passed reported passing every single month the past 2 years. Which is actually cool data.
I want to see that.
Is this person in chat? Is that person here? Say hello if you are. Treva, are you watching chat?
I am.
Elle's all over this. She's going to help us out.
Yep, and he was
L
the first
squared.
one I talked to this morning.
It's funny, we have L squared and L prime. So everybody, just so you know, we're just chillaxing here for a moment. We're getting ready to officially start the stream. We are looking for Kylix 3511 to see if he is anywhere on this stream. I'm going to give up here in about 30 seconds, but we're looking for this person. Let's, I think L's message him. Maybe, L, do me a favor, if you don't mind. Raise the alarms in chat when and if he arrives in here today. Maybe ping Treva for me, and then Treva, you can interrupt us as we're doing the live show and let me know. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Since we're kind of curmudgeon buddies this morning. All right. So here we go. You guys ready? So somebody just said coffee up, son. So I'm going to coffee up so we get in our good zone here. All right. So you guys about ready?
Yeah.
All right. Watch this. I got my zone. Here we go. Wait. I see Kylix. Okay. Just in time. Kylix, we were just talking about you. In fact, you've been subject to conversation internally here on our Slack channel as well for the past couple of days. And I didn't start that conversation. And it's popped up. And Treva was in here and wants to do something special for you. So Treva, what would you like to do? What would you like for us to do?
So you are like one of the best people I have ever met. So we were thinking that we were going to give you a super duper special gift, which was going to be an Ansel.
Would you mind saying a little bit about his story real quick? Like, because his story's popped up multiple times and we've been talking about it. Do you mind doing that?
Yes. No, I'm kidding. So the first time we met was in San Francisco. I think I was at OpenStack Summit, and he just has this wonderful positive energy, and he's so enthusiastic and so sweet. And we kind of connected then, even though we only saw each other a couple of days. And even though he's studying, I don't remember what school he goes to, but he's in university and he's working, and he dedicates several hours per day to studying on Linux Academy and still manages to be so warm and welcoming. And I just absolutely love him so much. So
3 jobs.
Yes.
3 jobs. And he's been I think he's probably like one of the most active people on 150, just talking about how much he loves it. He's doing all that stuff. Like, he's interacting with us on Twitter. He's part of the community. I mean, that's just so great, to be honest with you. So this isn't the final giveaway, believe it or not. This is not the grand prize giveaway. We're going to get another one and give it to Kylix. So we still have that grand prize giveaway. So instead of doing just one, we're going to do 2, and we're going to do a little something special for him. 3 jobs. I think he wanted it for his school, or even if not, that's okay. But 3 jobs, does all that, still studies, still finds time to throw some love out to the rest of the Linux Academy team, which working so hard right now. And I got to tell you what, it's really helped. It's really been exciting for them. So it's just a quick way of saying thank you and a little bit of words of encouragement. Remember, we were talking on Twitter too, and I'm going to give a message to everybody. Same thing I said to you. Think positive. Believe it will happen, and it will happen, right? And that's a message with everybody, right? I forgot who quoted this, so I could Google it real quick. But whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. It literally starts with the power of thought. You say, I don't have time, you're right. You don't have time. If you say, I can't do it, you can't do it. If you say, I'm not strong enough, I'm not smart enough, then you're right. However, if you say, I can, I will, then you will. And I mean, it's as simple as that, right? And it's that mind shift. And Kylix, you have that mind shift, man. And you're still finding time to be positive about it. You're looking positive. You've done that. So we're just giving a little bit of extra. So we're going to do 2 answers. We're giving one to him. And we still have the grand prize giveaway, which is an Ansel. So basically it's 2 of these, but we're giving one to Kylix. And then, so this was the grand prize. So we'll be ordering another one for Kylix on there. So super, super excited. I hope I'm saying the name correctly. Forgive me. And so that leads us into Coffee's Kicking In. Welcome, everybody. My name is Anthony James, founder and CEO of LinuxAcademy.com. And that giveaway put me in a really good mood. I'm really excited about that. And so today, we are jumping into Google and container announcements. So today I'm joined by Stephen Smith, Terry Cox, Matt, Ben, and Treva. I love it how sometimes I just do last names and sometimes I don't. I realize there's a lot of people on the stream, and so then I just stopped doing it. And so welcome, everybody. Say hello.
Hello.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, so where is that coming from? You guys have been saying that all morning. Tell me a little bit about that, Matt. Where's that joke coming from?
Okay, so when we did the promo video last week for the weekly Google Cloud stuff, I did like a little, but wait, there's more, talking about the live streams we're going to be doing in addition to the once a week, hey, what's going on in Google Cloud? And then I worked in a, but wait, there's more for our keynote thoughts for the day one of the Google Next conference. So it's kind of become a meme by now, not by my choice. So we're just going to kind of run with it.
I think I've heard it like 14 times this morning. I love it. So you're doing and you're talking about that video. So you actually have, you started this week a Google Weekly YouTube podcast video thing. What is that? Can you tell me about it?
We're officially kicking it off next week. This week, we're actually in San Francisco for the Google Next 2018 conference. That's why I have been here as well. And we're also here with Eric Frick, who is another one of our Google Cloud training architects. So we're doing all the Google Cloud conference stuff this week. Pretty fun and exciting stuff. But starting next week, we're doing something a little bit new in Linux Academy. We're going to be doing a weekly, I guess you call it a vlog. I don't know what they call these days, but it's basically kind of a wrap-up of what's new in Google Cloud. You know, every week there's always new news and services and improvements and so on and so forth. So we're going to summarize that and really kind of on a week-by-week basis, really talk about what's new in really my favorite platform. And the but wait, that's more part comes in that every Thursday, we're going to be doing a live hands-on demonstration of some sort of how-to in Google Cloud on Thursdays, in which I'm going to take a task and we're going to show how to do it. It's going to be on this same live stream YouTube channel that we're watching right now. And we're really going to approach it from a perspective of how to learn what you don't know so you know it. So it's really going to be kind of 2 purposes. Number one, doing something on camera, hands-on, which is awesome. But it's also going to be kind of the bigger theme of learning how to learn so you can take what you don't know and then learn how to know it, and then you know it, which sounds kind of redundant. But that's kind of how learning takes place and how you get better than you are right now.
So learning occurs when you find out, when you start knowing what you didn't know after you learned what you didn't know while knowing it.
Exactly.
Yep. That's perfect. Makes total sense. I just made that up. So that sounds awesome. It looks like you guys have had a lot of fun on that stream and a lot of fun talking about Google Cloud. So that's really exciting to watch. And so everybody, real quick, we have lots of weekly content coming out on the YouTube channel, which is going to be super awesome. I know we got a lot of AWS and Linux quick tips and how-tos that are going to start rolling out in the month of August on a weekly basis. So do me a little favor. And on the YouTube page right now, click that little subscribe button. Make sure you get all those latest updates, stay up to date. We're also going to be launching our Linux Academy Weekly, which talks about code updates, content updates, everything that's going on, what's happening on a weekly basis, when we can expect the new Content Learning Center, Cloud Servers 2.0, or Insta Labs, which are all coming over the next few months. So much awesome is happening. The team is amazing. Real quick as well, feel free to follow me on Twitter, Anthony D. James. I give away a bunch of vouchers. I've given away about 40 LPIC, Linux Professional Institute vouchers alone. Thinking about giving away an AWS Deep Lens. And then, I don't know if you know this, but Chris Fisher and I have recently just become best friends somehow by hanging out at Texas Linux Fest. So we've been sponsoring Jupiter Broadcasting for a really long time. I don't know why we've never actually talked about it. But if you want to stay up to date, Linux Action News is a weekly update of a bunch of stuff. They've done it for years. They've had the Linux Action Show. Chris Fisher has been doing this for 12 years. You have TechSnap that covers a bunch of stuff like containers. You have the BSD podcast. You have Linux Unplugged. They have a bunch of podcasts. Check out Jupiter Broadcasting. Those guys are amazing. And then real quick, if you aren't in our Slack community, join us in the Slack community where we have a bunch of conversation. The chat never ends. The YouTube chat inside of Slack never ends. We have Google channels, AWS development channels, student union channels, meta channels, all the channels. I have no idea why the channels are important. Now I went from being a curmudgeon this morning, Triva, to now I'm ready to rock. Is everybody ready for some announcements? We got some people showing up in the chat. And let's go ahead and start almost rolling. Don't forget to join us on our next Women in Tech webinar. And really the great thing about this and what's really humbling is awesome is we have our own staff that's actually going to be participating in these webinars. And our very own Amy, who is an OpenStack training architect here at Linux Academy, will be with Elaine Marino talking about inspired inclusion. Now, if you don't know about Amy, we had her on the live stream not too long ago, but she's really involved in the OpenStack community. She actually helped L Squared, a training architect of ours here at Linux Academy, get involved in OpenStack contributions and in the community. She's always willing to help reach out. So always feel free to reach out to our course authors, our training architects, say, hey, how can I get involved? Or, maybe there's a little bit of help. So always feel free. That's what we're here for. That's why we have full-time staff. We've already talked about this, Matt, but we'll just look at your amazing picture real quick in awe of what your video is. So since we've already talked about it, this is Matt. And he has an announcement today. It's a certification-related announcement that's also related to Google. And he also has his weekly live stream Twitch videos that he's going to start doing, and his weekly YouTube how-to video, and his weekly Google Cloud What's New. So lots of good stuff coming to YouTube. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And as always, our training architect team has done some freaking amazing things this year. In April, we hit our 70-plus goal content launch, which set a record for us, not just 3 months later. In July, this month, we're launching over 150. Now, I just found this out, and I've been talking about it, but we've already officially passed 150 training items between courses, learning activities, and challenges. The biggest question has been, how do I find those? I acknowledge and I agree with a little bit of your pain, and our Chief Product Officer, Christophe Limpelaire, who is in the room with me right now, if you want to come say hello, is working with our development and product team, and we're going to start launching here in the next few weeks our content discovery service. Am I in the shot? You are in the shot. This is him right here. That's right there, yes.
I'll be back on in a little bit.
And he's going to be launching, or they're going to be launching our content discovery service from our engineering team, where you're going to be able to see the new content, all of the content. And there's one thing I was talking in the Slack community last night. I had some good conversations with some of our students at about 12 o'clock last night before bed, or this morning. I guess that's one way of looking at it. And one thing we don't talk about is we're moving to the model where we have this thumbs up and thumbs down, and our training architects look at that content. But we're moving to the point where any piece of content that is below a 90% satisfaction rating will not actually be on the site. The response from the Slack channel was, wow, that's even higher than I would have expected. So specifically, given the fact that statistically 5% of all people will hate you no matter what, that's seriously an actual statistic. Did not make that up. That's actually really good. So the team does a great job. Reach out. They take the feedback. They articulate it. So just make sure when you like the content, you enjoy it, give it a thumbs up. Give a pat on the back to our training architects. All right, everybody. If you don't know what a learning activity is, it's super important that I tell you what it is because we're launching so many learning activities going forward. Learning activities are 100% hands-on practical application activities. They're independently consumable pieces of item. You do find them within courses. However, let's say that I'm in my job and I have a task I have to do. And while I've already gone through the training, I completely forgot how to do something. Or as an example, maybe I just need to learn how to do SE Linux permissions a specific way. I can do a quick search on Linux Academy for that learning activity. It will deploy the proper environment, allow me to go in and learn that specific thing hands-on and leave, right? That's why we deploy out the lab environment so you don't have to take time to download it, throw it up, troubleshoot it. This helps you in your everyday career. It's another tool in the toolbox. What's great is the learning activities build off of each other. So if you do X in learning activity 1 inside of a course, the next learning activity will pre-deploy that entire environment that you did prior to it, but it'll be independently consumable so you can learn on that specific concept. So take micro and fast learning to a whole other level, and that's where we're at. All right, everybody. Last but not least, our interactive diagrams, before we get started on everything, are a huge component, and we've been talking a lot about them. We even have some more stuff coming out cool later this year as it relates to our interactive diagrams. But one reason I want to talk about this is it's literally the single hardest thing our course authors, our training architects have to do. It's hard to build these. It's very time consuming. I would say, well, I'm going to look at it right now and say, any of you training architects today, do you guys just love doing interactive diagrams? Anybody speak up if you just love doing interactive diagrams?
I actually like them a lot. I got a chance to work with them with.
No, you like them. You like them, but do you love building them?
Close. I think it reminds me of development. It's I'm a visual learner. I think it's fun to put cool pictures together for complex environments that break things down. And I've had a chance to work with the Azure team as we've started to implement that, and even across some of our other domains. So I would hazard a comment that I love building them. I think they're great. They're fun to work on, and yeah.
And this is why you should come work at Linux Academy. Or you already are, but I'm talking to other people on the stream. Who else is getting ready to talk there?
Other than Matt, I don't necessarily love making them because they are more difficult than PowerPoints, but I do love the end result and that they are interactive. And from a learning perspective, it is much more interactive and useful to a student versus just static PowerPoints. So it's a lot more effort, but I think the result is a lot better for our students. So I guess you could kind of say I love it from that perspective.
Well, and that's what we do here. We focus on building the proper tools around student success. Even if it's hard, we do it if it's the right thing to do. That's why it takes a little bit longer for us at Linux Academy to build content, because you get your flashcards, get your interactive diagrams, you get your hands-on labs. Every single learning activity has a diagram of the architecture. So we have embraced and love all of the diagrams. But it's a little bit harder. It's a little bit more expensive. It's a little bit more time consuming than just building PowerPoints, talking about concepts on an exam. And that's what we do at Linux Academy is we focus on student success, training you, merging in-person training with online self-paced training has been our goal. So thanks for talking about that, everybody. And we have our cloud servers. Everybody knows about the cloud servers. I just want to put this in here primarily because we're working on cloud servers 2.0, and it is modernized to scale. We manage tens of thousands of VMs thanks to our cloud servers, and it's going to be super awesome on some of the features coming with it. So look forward to that beta release in November. And marketing really wants to do this trivia thing before we get to announcements. I think we just want to build it up so when everybody gets it, they are super duper excited. So real quick, what is the concept of training an application to learn from data? Oh, Nano, thank you. You're the bomb. He says cloud servers is the bomb. I have a special place in my heart for cloud servers because it was our very first hands-on labs, and I got to write them. And it was cool. I get to be involved in the next generation, but not quite as much. All right. Let's talk about this a little bit here. What do we got here? We only have one response. Does nobody want some swag? Let's get some stuff going. What is the concept of training an application to learn from data? What is the concept? Actually, I don't even know how to answer this question. Do you know how to answer this question, Matt? Because what would be the right answer going on here?
It looks like Raphael was the first one to answer. I thought he kind of mixed the order up. It's machine learning.
Yeah. So the concept of it is through machine learning, training the application.
Yep. So you're basically training an application or training a machine to learn from data. So when you present it new data that it hasn't seen before, it can take the old set and learn from that, which is how we get stuff like image recognition, Google Translate. And we're going to talk a lot about that in some of our courses launching today.
Well, let's get to that. I got this announcing thing right here. I'm going to see here how many people can post inside of the YouTube channel that they're ready for this before I get started. Actually, that's just me. Are you guys ready for this? Treva, you're up. Are you ready for this? It's coming. Are you ready? You want to delay?
Let's do it.
All right. Everybody, we are announcing our Docker Quest. Treva, take over and tell us a little bit about this.
So, excuse me, I just forgot how to human for a second. It's a learning quest where you're going to perform 10 different activities for basically getting started with getting hands-on training with Docker. I'm still forgetting how to human.
So that's going to be, by the way, you're getting it here. We're putting shirts up for take gyms for swag. Because on Linux Academy, your gyms, you're going to be able to start buying swag. We're going to have shirts that say "Forgot how to human." That's what we're going to do. Treva.
I like it. Thanks. They gave me a little bit of time to gather my words. Anyway, there are 10 activities where we're going to start from the very beginning, where you'll learn how to launch your first Docker container. And that's going to go all the way to working with persistent data volumes. And the story, I'm not sure if I want to spoil the story because it's ridiculous and it's a lot of fun. But anyway, you're going to be very entertained while you're learning how to use Docker throughout the entire quest.
Well, the really cool thing here is this another quest, and you're going to see some quests and lots of quests actually launched in the month of August, which is next month. But as a quest is 100% hands-on. Now, inside of a learning activity, a quest is made up of those learning activities. You do have guides, written guides, as well as videos that walk you through doing it. But we want to take the concept and just go 100% hands-on in some situations. And this quest is here. And what's really cool about this quest is it's not even done. In fact, Treva, you're moving on to some OpenShift, OpenStack stuff this quarter. And our training architect, Travis, will be extending this with even more advanced Docker concepts, I believe. Is that correct, Terry? And what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up adding those activities on a weekly or bi-weekly process to the Docker Quest. And so you're going to see this continuously grow, probably see some Docker Compose, some security stuff around it. Lots of good things coming in there.
Yeah, we'll probably even extend this for Docker Swarm, perhaps some more advanced concepts around orchestrating Docker containers. So we've got a lot of things that we can build upon for Docker here. And the story's great. This is a great start. Travis is going to build on it. So I think this is something that you can constantly come back and visit. And every week you're going to get new information out of what we've added.
Absolutely. And so there was a question, is this just a quest, not a course? What I would say is this is better than a course because it incorporates everything that you would find in there, but 100% all hands-on a different learning journey, actually. And the other side of that is if you're looking for Docker courses, we have a boatload of them. We have Docker Deep Dive. We have Docker Quick Start. We have the Docker certification course, which is usually pretty good on there. And I know we're also refreshing and doing another next generation version of Docker Deep Dive. Am I correct there, Terry?
Yes, Docker Deep Dive is up for a refresh. It's one of our popular container courses, but it's a little long in the tooth, especially with Docker Swarm and the recent certification. So yes, given its popularity and some of the changes, I think it'll be a really good complement to the certification and, quite frankly, to this learning activity, this quest, which is going to give you even more hands-on components than you get just in the course.
Yeah, and I think this starts you from beginner and then just keeps going. So it starts off at basic concepts and it's going to keep expanding and going into deeper concepts, even more than it is at today. You know, some Grafana, some Prometheus will probably end up showing in there this quarter,
Yes.
some good security stuff. So it's going to keep going. And so what I would say is we have all of the Docker. For those of you who are looking for it, I would venture to say that I don't think there's any Docker that you'd be looking for that is not already on Linux Academy. What I would say is it's probably hard to find it, and we're fixing that. We actually have a problem of too much content. It's actually hard to find. Good problem to have. It's a good problem to have, but we're fixing that.
Hey, one of the things that
yeah.
I'd like to say here is sometimes we get suggestions from our community and on the content that they want to see, and we actually have a site for you to go to and vote for content. So in particular, if there's Docker scenarios that you'd like to see us address, this is a perfect opportunity for you to tell us what you'd like to see, especially now that we're going to be moving into the more advanced concepts. Those use cases are easy for us to build for you guys to get your hands on. And if there's anything that you would like to see in this particular quest, that would be a good opportunity to drop by and vote for it.
Good plug, Linux Academy Com. Oh, so it's posted inside the YouTube chat. So this is really good. This is one of those things that we had on the site that we actually removed, and Triva picked it up and went ahead and completed it. There's a lot of requests for this back in April. And as we've talked about before, our goal is to deliver everything that you all want. And we've actually done a really good job at that going forward. So are we ready for some more Docker trivia? What format are Docker images identified in? What format are Docker images identified in? I'm going to go with .gif or GIF, depending on where you are on that side of the argument. I think I'm wrong, though. Where are we at? Terry, am I right? Is it .gif or .gif? What are we going to do here? That's what we ought to put on the trivia.
We may need to provide a hint here. It's a method. It's the actual ID. What format does the ID come in?
I got them on images now. I got them on IMG, PNG. All right. I don't know that I got it. I think we're going to have to just give the answer on this one. This is one of those things that my guess is if you take some of our Docker training, you will learn on that. So we got hash images as one, Terry.
Not quite.
No. Somebody was concerned about how I was able to type and be on camera and look at the YouTube chat. I would just say coffee, I think is how that's done. 2 to 3 cups a day. All right, Terry, let's take it to this. Anybody win? If not, who do you want to give swag to? Because you're going to answer the question and give away your swag.
So the Docker image ID, I posted in an example of a shortened ID posted in the channel. And as far as swag goes, I don't have any Docker or I'm sorry, I don't have any Terry bobbleheads or T-shirts or anything. But
yet.
But I think a swag pack maybe of little pine head and a T-shirt would be great.
Who do you want to give it to, and what's the answer? Richard Layton wants to answer this question. Richard Layton is a developer here at Linux Academy, our second full-time hire, which if you ask him, he'll debate that because his user ID is actually higher. So I guess it's contextual on that one.
Shut up, Richard.
Come work at Linux Academy where love is what we're all about.
That's a running joke. Just so I'm not actually telling them. Well, I am kind of a little telling them to shut up, but it's a running joke.
It's that and because Richard. Those are both the running jokes.
Exactly.
Is it OCI, Terry? I think we lost Terry Cox. Triva, you may have to answer this. Terry's gigabit Google Fiber might have just gone out. We got to get some more announcements. Triva, do you have the answer to this?
No. I guess, Richard, you can answer it.
Go ahead, Richard. Come on, Richard. You're letting us down here. Where's it at? Aw, thank you. You're amazing. We put him on the spot. We'll come back to Richard. We'll come back and see if anybody wants to come back and figure out the answer. We don't want to give it away yet. We're going to let Terry do it. So let's go ahead and move on to our Google Cloud certified professional data engineer launch. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 3 Google certifications as of this exact moment in time. We support 2 of them. Keep watching. But Matt, why don't you take over from here?
Yes, this is definitely
guys,
one of. Terry's back.
I'm sorry. Before we go any further, guys, SHA 256 is close enough. It's a long hexadecimal formatted string, and I did see somebody. I was able to see somebody announcing that in the stream. It looks like. Let me make sure I got the first instance of it. Christopher Gray was the first one to say SHA 256.
We asked Treva, she wanted to give it away, and she said no, and you went in and gave it away. We were going to make everybody come back and do it. So
I lost internet on one computer, but I had it on my streaming computer. So
your Google Fiber wasn't what went out?
No, it was one of my systems.
Okay. So, I mean, that's what I told everybody is you lost your highly advertised by sock hater Terry Cox Google Fiber. So I
will say that was the first thing that I checked until the stream was going. So I looked, and I was still getting over 900 down and up from Google, even when we're streaming. So
not really gigabit. That's fine. Not as advertised. So Matt, go ahead and continue here, bud.
Yes, this has definitely been one of our more requested courses over the past few months, and hey, it's here. So. Good deal. So yes, this is the other professional level certification available from Google, which is the data engineer exam. It is definitely a pretty challenging exam. However, this course will go over everything you need to know to, number one, get a good hands-on of how big data on Google Cloud and also machine learning works, and of course to pass the exam too. And it's going to be completely comprehensive. We're going to talk about all the major big data services on Google Cloud, such as Cloud PubSub for real-time streaming ingest, BigQuery for data warehousing, Dataproc for your managed Spark and Hadoop loads, and a whole lot more to keep the meme going.
I thought it was, but wait, there's more.
Oh, but wait, there's more. We're also going to – I can't keep this going. We're going to talk about machine learning, both in general, really apart from Google Cloud, and also about the Google Cloud specific services as well. And one thing I kind of noticed that makes both the architect and the data engineer exam a little bit more challenging than what really many people have expected is that you'll often see questions not specifically related to Google Cloud services, but really just kind of related services itself. So, you're going to see questions about, how does machine learning work? What is a neural network? What are the differences between parameters and hyperparameters, which aren't specific to Google Cloud, but it's just general machine learning. And we're going to cover a lot of those aspects as well.
Super awesome. I know that there's been a lot of passes from your other Google certification. What other Google certification do you teach? What's the name of that?
We have the Google Cloud Architect exam, which is the other professional level exam available from Google Cloud. And it's actually been fun at the Google Next 18 conference. We've had a lot of students come up and just talk about how, they've passed our courses and really just kind of the overall value that we've been giving to the community. Really not just Google Cloud content, but just all the different types of content we have in general.
That's really exciting. We've had a lot of requests on that. Matt, you've done a good job. And if you notice here on this picture, again, interactive diagrams. This is one of those things that you're getting on all of the cloud content, a lot of the Linux content. And these interactive diagrams are really, really key when it comes to, number one, being engaged while you're learning, making sure you're staying focused. Because the thing is, I can listen to stuff. Sometimes I can watch it. But if I'm just looking at maybe PowerPoint slides or something boring, I have no idea what was just said. So this engagement is really key when it comes to your learning. So we're going to move on to the next announcement, everybody. And we are going to, Ben, I'm going to let you get ready to do this, but we're going to early announce, just because there's about 2 sections left, because Ben joined us on about June 1st. So he has a little bit of behind on the quarterly really think since he came kind of mid-quarter, but is the Google Cloud Certified Associate Cloud Engineer. Ben, would you like to take over on this?
No. Oh, wait. I'm supposed to say yes.
Man, so much revolting this morning. Treva did it. You're doing it.
I felt like you this morning before my coffee, but now I've kind of hit that caffeine.
We're all curmudgeons.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been really exciting at Next because we've been standing in the booth, we've been talking to people, and one of the things we keep hearing is, when are you going to have content for the Google Cloud Associate Cloud Engineer? So it makes sense. People have been asking for it. We decided, let's just get it out there early. So we'll do some rolling deploys, but this is a really cool course because it's a scenario driven. So it's going to take you through this scenario as a junior cloud ops engineer who is starting at this company. And I'll play the role as like a senior engineer, kind of a mentor. And we're going to walk through the process of actually deploying out some microservices, monitoring them, seeing how they handle under load, seeing how they crash, and how to find out where to fix those bugs. So I'm really excited for this one. It's a cool course.
Yeah, and it's one of those that Google just came out with announced, and it's actually kind of funny because when did they announce this certification? Do you know?
Yeah, it was
May.
It was not long ago.
Yeah, I think it just came out. And it's one of those things where the instant thing from our community, and I love it, is when is that going to be available? And so what, kind of our promise is to make good, high quality, engaging content and be able to refresh or build any piece of content in the 3-month period. And this is one of those examples, and I'm really proud of the training architect team. I know, Stephen, you were part and key in this, getting that going, being kind of head of Google content. But we were able to turn around and deliver that. Ben, I know you're working hard on that. And so I'm really happy and proud from the standpoint we were able to deliver on the Google Data Engineer and on this one within that promise to our students. So that is super awesome. Good job, Ben. Good job, Matt. Good job, Treva. I think we have more. Do we have more? We have more.
But wait, there's more.
But I don't know why I didn't do it there. I missed that opportunity. I missed it. All right, but there's more.
Matt.
Are we ready for more? Steven, are you going to talk about these next announcements? Is that what's happening?
I hear that there's more.
There's more. Ladies and gentlemen, we are announcing Google Cloud Essentials. Steven Smith, go ahead and take over.
Yeah, you bet. So the Google Cloud Essentials course is a complete rework from the ground up. We did have a Google Cloud Essentials course a little over a year ago. And just so many things have been happening with Google Cloud in general over the last year. It was just time for us to, number one, build a course that was more to our content standards. For example, using these interactive diagrams that our customers love. And we did that. So Joe Lowry is actually the training architect that put together this course. You know him from his previous courses, such as the App Engine Deep Dive, as well as some other random courses he's done on Google Cloud. So pretty excited about this one. He's got several quizzes throughout this course. If you are familiar with some of our AWS fundamentals and AWS essentials courses, this is very similar to that in the fact that you use the diagram or diagrams, I should say, to interactively look holistically at all the different services that Google Cloud has to offer, and then dive in and see how those different services all correlate and work together.
I love it. So that's 3 Google courses, 2 Google Cloud certifications, which gives Linux Academy 100% coverage of all Google Cloud certifications. Same thing for AWS. And very soon until Azure came out with new announcements, but we're already working on those, so that's good. And so let's move on to the next trivia. We'll go ahead and wrap up. We'll do a recap. That is it for the course announcements. And what Google Cloud Service is used for serverless data warehousing and is able to query petabyte-size data sets using the SQL format. Oh, actually, we have another announcement. It just popped up. We do have another content announcement after this one. Don't run away yet. Don't run away. We have another content announcement.
There's about a 20-second delay in the stream, so we'll wait for answers.
And everybody's leaving in that 20 seconds. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I forgot Christoph was in here for a reason.
David Lowe is our winner.
David Lowe. Matt, tell us the answer to this.
BigQuery.
BigQuery. Is there a small query?
There is not.
There should be.
All right, everybody, let's go ahead and move on to, I believe this is our last announcement. Christophe Limpelaire, why don't you come on over here and prep for this? Ladies and gentlemen, all you got to do is hit this little next thing, hop on the show, say hello, Christophe, and take over.
By next thing, do you mean the arrows?
The arrows.
Press the arrows, the next thing. Hey, so I'm Christophe Limpelaire, Chief Product Officer here at Linux Academy. I actually haven't been on the live stream this quarter yet, so I'm excited to be on. Last time I was on was in April, so it's been a little bit of, it's been a while. But the reason that I'm back, and I'm assuming this is the current show, right? Okay, so the reason that I'm back is to announce a new Scale Your Code episode. So this episode with James Judd launched recently in the past quarter here. And the reason that it's so interesting is because we talk about microservices. So how to go from monolithic applications to microservices. I know that this is a popular topic currently. A lot of organizations are either currently moving to microservices or they're interested in it. And they're trying to figure out if it makes sense for them. So in this episode, we look at an actual real world use case of an organization that did this very same thing. They went from having that monolithic application to switching over to microservices. Now, this is not as easy as just flipping a switch. It takes a lot of different processes. It takes a different mindset. It takes different engineering skill sets. In short, it's a big effort. And so in this use case, we talk about that effort. We talk about how they had to reorganize some of their internal engineering teams, how they had to look at different technologies and which technologies to go with. So for example, as a highlight, we talk about how they switched from PHP to Scala, completely different language. I don't know if you guys have ever done anything with Scala or not. I've played with it a little bit, but it's very different. It has different benefits. It has different cons. And so in the episode, we talk about those. We talk about the reason why they invested so heavily in moving away from PHP to something like Scala. Some of the other interesting highlights with this episode is that James Judd, who I interviewed for this episode, actually went from being an individual contributor as a software engineer to being an engineering manager. So if any of you who are listening are interested in making that transition in your career, from just going from that individual contributor, contributing day to day into code, to moving into more of a management position, you can get a lot of different tips and tricks from James since he recently went through this transition. So really the whole episode talks about their architecture, talks about their engineering teams, talks about some of their technologies, like we mentioned, switching from PHP to Scala, but also they switched from just using natural JavaScript to jQuery to moving to Angular, which is really interesting because we're in a similar situation. We've somewhat recently, I guess maybe about a year or so, still in the process. Some of our code is still in other languages, but we are transitioning to Angular, for example, and they're also using Angular, and they switched to that from jQuery and other JavaScript libraries. So overall, it's just a very interesting episode. James, honestly, probably one of my favorite episodes because James just provides us so much value in that I highly recommend that you go check it out. And you can do that by going to scaleyourcode.com. In fact, it's really easy to subscribe if you have iTunes Podcast or Stitcher or really any major podcasting platform. You can just pull that up on your phone and listen to it during your daily commute. So we'd love to hear your feedback and definitely subscribe because we are about to launch a brand new episode with, I won't mention the name just yet, but it has to do with Red Hat and it has to do with open source. So I think you'll really, really enjoy it. Let's see, are there any questions about it? Is this the that's the feed? That's the feed. All right, let's look through it. Hello, Scala is the bee's knees for the data. That's right, Derek. Have you done anything with Scala, Derek? I know you're working on some data stuff. SQLite for small query. Writing to the file system is the smallest query.
They're now talking about that big query question when I asked if there was a small query.
Yeah. I know there's also a delay with the stream. So
I should have been specific when I said, is there a service name?
Service, yeah. Right. A little bit different.
Should have known we would have gotten architecture design.
But yeah, anyway, so I hope you enjoy the episode and definitely leave us some feedback on YouTube or even on scaleyourcode.com if you do have any questions, or feel free to follow up with James Judd or myself if you have some follow-up questions for that. So anyway, thanks for the time.
Thank you, Christophe Limpelaire. And we'll go ahead and move on. Don't forget, you can still enter to win. We have one more live show this month for our July content announcements. That live show has Terry Cox in it with some Azure and DevOps. And I would say that it's going to be jam-packed with some certification training. There is a DevOps certification. that will be announced in there. There is Azure certifications that will be announced in there. So go to linuxacademy.com/live. Don't forget to enter in to win this $1,800 Ansel One super awesome thing for your home or school lab. It is still up for grabs. We did give an extra one today to an awesome community participant, kind of a surprise. But we are still giving away another one. So don't forget to go enter and win. Hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Make sure that you're following the Google Cloud weekly news update, the Linux Academy weekly news update that's going to be launching in about a week and a half. Our weekly how-tos that are coming for Google, Linux, AWS, Azure, all that great stuff, as well as you're going to probably see our heads of content on here a lot more, and our live Twitch streaming that is going to be going by Matt. Am I correct, Matt?
Yes, that's correct. Look out on Wednesday, August 1st is going to be the first episode of our Google Cloud Weekly. And on Thursday will be our live hands-on demo. And I forgot to mention earlier is that we have a topic in mind for the first hands-on demo just because it's the first one. But we're going to actually be taking suggestions from the audience for what we want to go over next week. Now, of course, it has to be something that we could, reliably do in about a 20 to 30-minute hands-on demo. If we're waiting 30 minutes for a Spark job to complete, well, then that's really not good for hands-on. But I'm going to be taking suggestions from the audience in our live demos and also the recap ones on YouTube as well, so essentially you will be telling us what you want to see the next week. So definitely be sure to comment on that. We're going to be looking at those suggestions and let us know what you would like to see a live demonstration on, and we just might do it.
So we're going to move on to questions, but I want to address something in the community real quick, which is kind of funny. Terry, when did they announce the LPI DevOps certification? When did that become public?
My goodness. It wasn't terribly long before I think we started on it.
It was like March, April.
It was March at the earliest, and it may have been late March.
I think it was, yeah.
We got started on it immediately after.
Clive inside the chat says LPI DevOps is long overdue. It takes a little time to create courses.
Well, and I have to
about 3 months. What's that?
And I have to say with that one, when you look at the objectives, and we'll talk about this more in the next stream, it's almost like 10 or 12 miniature courses inside of it, because you're talking about such a disparate number of technologies that you have to teach well enough so that you understand the context of being able to apply them in an exam environment. So it was definitely a large course, and it definitely takes some time. And I think we're doing a good job with everything that we do there.
That falls within our 3-month process. Basically, if you look from April to June, because we do it from a quarterly basis, we got it out there. Or it's launching next week. Just a quick announcement for those of you, but it is launching next week to kind of give it away. It follows a 3-month thing. So I just kind of want to remind everybody that it takes a lot of time to build hands-on quality content. It's not just slides, throwing it in there, recording stuff. You want to make sure that's presented correctly. You got to follow instructional design. You got to set out all of those things. So on that long overdue, I would say that Travis has done a great job on that. And we have a few questions on LPIC 3. It's one of those popular things, Terry. We're going to probably announce our roadmap actually next month. Now that we're kind of in our good new processes, I think we're going to announce it. But would you say that since we have full Red Hat certified architect support today, that it's probably reasonable to expect that we would have full support for all LPIC certifications come November?
I would say that it is a pretty safe bet, yes.
Pretty safe bet. So without giving anything away, that answers that LPIC 3 question. Any other questions before we kind of wrap up? There is one more trivia and swag giveaway. We'll go through and come back to questions and go through. What is the name of the whale on the Docker logo?
Is it Flipper?
I guess that means I came up with good trivia questions.
Moby.
Shamu.
It's not Moby. It's not Shamu. Maybe Shamu.
It's Jiff.
So that's partially right.
Jiffy.
Moby is partially right. What's the full name? Moby's partially right. Moby Doc. Christopher Gray, the first one to say it.
Moby Doc.
Moby Doc.
I want to address something on there in the chat. Somebody says, Anthony James, you just announced LPI DevOps on Slack in one conversation. Just as a key, if you guys go into our community Slack, I usually give away a lot of stuff that I shouldn't because I love interacting with our students. So the times that you find me in the community Slack, which I always have it open, it's just I'm in there checking in things several times a day. I usually give stuff away. There was LPIC 3 questions today that we gave away. Love our students, so I like doing that. So it is Moby Doc. And let's go in through our recap real quick, and we're going to finish up, everybody. This month so far, we've launched Elasticsearch Deep Dive. And I was incorrect last week when I said this was Elastic Stack. It is, in fact, Elasticsearch Deep Dive. We launched implementing a full CI/CD pipeline, which is really cool. Salt Stack Certified Engineer and L Prime here, since we have 2 L's, L Prime will be speaking at SaltConf about everyday tips for using Salt in your life. Kenny Armstrong launched our Linux Plus and LPIC 1 system administrator. This is important because it's for the new objectives coming out in September. We've promised to stay ahead of those things, and this gets way ahead of that. The current LPIC exam will be good for at least another 6 months, but the new objectives and new exam comes out in September, and so we already support that. I just skipped over it. We launched Red Hat Certified Specialist in Virtualization. That's part of our Red Hat Certified Architect track support. Red Hat Certified Specialist in Ansible Automation. Derek launched his Red Hat Certified System Administrator Performance-Based Practice Exam, which you can find that in our RHCSA course. Amy launched her OpenStack Foundation Certified OpenStack Administrator, which is for the new exam launching in August. So again, getting ahead of the curve there. On our live stream Tuesday, we announced the AWS Deep Dive new build with our standards, interactive diagrams, hands-on labs, refreshed our older one. The AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate Level 2018 course. AWS Certified DevOps Engineer Professional. Phil launched some awesome AWS challenges. Mark and Adrian launched their AWS Security Specialist Quest, which will follow up with the early release of videos and sections next week. Today, Triva launched Docker Containers Quest. Matt went in and launched the Google Cloud Platform Professional Data Engineer. Their certifications are kind of a mouthful at times. All of them are getting there. Ben launched the Google Cloud Certified Associate Cloud Engineer. Joseph launched Google Cloud Essentials, and Christoph Limpeler, our Chief Product Officer, launched this actually really good Scaled Code show, going from a monolith app to microservices and building engineering teams. Our last live show, we have a special guest, VP of Community Development from Chef will be here. Probably reasonable to expect we'll have Chef announcements then. We will have our Azure training architects and Travis Thompson talking about his LPIC DevOps course that I kind of just announced. Ladies and gentlemen, here's our fast and final recap of everything that we launched this month. We have now surpassed our 150. Truly amazing from the team at Linux Academy. Here are 3 pages worth of actual hands-on learning, training. You have courses, you have learning activities, you have practice exams, you have all of these things. And if you want, we have one more trivia for swag. Which Google Cloud service is used to manage Hadoop and Spark workloads?
I gave the answer earlier. Is it GIF?
I think it could be GIF.
When the guy who created the standard says it's GIF, I tend to go with that.
I mean, I don't know. The community can disagree.
That's true.
It's a religious war.
I'm watching.
I say GIF, by the way.
Okay, I see the first answer from Morgan Jones. He said Dataproc, which is correct.
Dataproc, everybody do me a favor. Help me spread the word. about Linux Academy Community Edition. We are doing monthly launches, cycling out good content. I got some good ideas launching next month. Help me spread that word. Currently, we have free until August 1st. These courses, I'm not going to read everything to you. You can see it on here. Free until October 1st are these other sets of courses. And join us on YouTube for Matt's video. We have a lot of extra stuff on here, but I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Join us on July 31st for the last announcements. Everybody feel free to tweet, share, do all the great stuff. Let our training architects know you really appreciate their work. And again, it's not too late to enter in to win the grand prize of this $1,800 or so. I forget the exact dollar price, give or take a couple bucks. Ansel 1, top of the line Ansel. Super, super great. Everybody on the live show, thanks for joining us. This has been fantastic, and we'll see you on July 31st or in the Slack community. Slack.linuxacademy.com.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.